Hey everybody, welcome back to the studio. Today we're going to be making a piece from a new line of work that I've been developing, which is called the Oculus series. Lately these have been some of my favorite pieces to produce, and I've made quite a few of them. But let's go ahead and get into the studio. We can go ahead and get started. So this is my brother Luke. He's got a small bit of clear glass on the end of a rod, and he just picked up a piece of glass that we've preheated to about 1,000 degrees in that little box. This is going to be the color for the bottom half of the piece that we're going to make today. So Luke's going to start to get it nice and hot and start to shape it up into the shape of a diamond. So now on the other side of the studio, I've got a blowpipe, and I'm going to get a little bit of clear glass out of our furnace right here. This furnace is 2,000 degrees on the inside and holds about 700 pounds of clear glass. So all I have to do is stick my blowpipe in, rotate a few times, and I can come out with some nice clear glass. While it's nice and hot, I've got a small amount of time to kind of manipulate it to a nice kind of Q-tip shape. This is a good shape to blow a bubble into. So now that we have our bubble established, I'm going to let this cool down while Luke starts to heat up that pink glass that we have on the tip of this pipe. Here in just a moment, we're actually going to drop it on top of my bubble while it's nice and hot. I'll cut it free, and then we're going to spread it all the way across that bubble so that this pink glass will cover the entirety of that bubble. This is what we call a color overlay.
Pretty predictable jump scare.
Oh, I bet. I mean, it's Pennywise, right? Like, what's he gonna do? Eat some more kids? Yeah. Yeah. It's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
That movie rules.
I watched Braveheart for the first time.
Freedom!
See, I like Patriot better
Yeah.
than Braveheart.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Braveheart, good movie. Today's adventure begins.
So now that we have the color equally distributed around that bubble, I can dip back into the furnace to get our final gather of glass. And now that we have that final gather, from here on out, we're basically just going to be doing a lot of inflating. So we'll do some shaping here really quick while that glass is nice and hot, and then I'll move to my newspaper tool so we can start to really inflate this into a nice round shape.
You can blow. Off.
This newspaper tool is quite good at being able to manipulate the expansion of the bubble, right? If you watch a lot of my videos, you'll notice that I use this tool quite a bit. So my brother Luke is blowing into the pipe, and I can use the wet newspaper to control how hot the glass is, right? The hotter areas, when he blows, will expand more, and the colder areas that the wetted newspaper is really cooling down will slow in expansion. So this is really a lot of just like controlling the direction of that bubble.
You know.
Hey, would you rather choose the glass blowing in Florida on the beach over like Colorado Mountain View?
Probably. Off. I would like it. I want them to hang out there and watch.
Yeah, totally.
Then sit down and have a drink or whatever. Because that's how you sell stuff. Important.
So this move that I'm doing right now is called putting in the jack line. I'm putting in a small incision with the tool in my hand called the jacks, and this small little incision or like line is basically determining where we're going to break it off whenever we transfer it to a new pipe. So here in just a moment we're going to have to do a transfer where we'll take a new pipe and break it off of this one, and then we'll have it flipped over on the other pipe. So we're basically deciding where we want to disconnect it from the pipe.
Oh, so you're up here.
Blow.
Oh,
What'd you say, Cody?
you're up here drinking and doing work, huh?
Yeah, dude. Off. Yeah, I drink water my entire slot. You know. You can blow. Off. Blow. Off. typical blowing glass on the sand on the beach. All right, you can grab a punty.
So now that the bottom is established, it's time to set up for that transfer that I was talking about before. So this is what's known as the Punty transfer. My brother Luke has another pipe in his hand that we're going to transfer to, and he's got a bit of glass on the tip of the pipe that we're going to use as glue to connect it to this new pipe we're going to be using. So basically what'll happen is he'll bring it over, I'll stab it onto the middle, as in the middle of the piece as I can so we can get some really good symmetry. And then I've got a small amount of time to set it before it really cools down. It doesn't want to move anymore. And then I'll add a few drops of water onto that jack line. I'll give the piece a tap with one of my metal tools, and it should pop right off.
Okay, ready?
Alright, so that transfer went great. And now while that punty's nice and hot, I can use this wooden paddle to make sure that the bottom of the piece is nice and flat. And then I'm going to move on to my jacks to start to open up that lip on it, while Luke uses the paddle to start to flatten it. Now, the plan with this piece is that we're going to pick up a small cup out of the oven over there, the same one that we got the pink glass out of in the beginning, and we're going to attach it onto that lip right there. So I want to make sure that this ring, the lip, is just the right size so we can attach it. So there's the cup we're going to be using. It's called a supio. So basically, it's like a tube. It's got a small hole on the side that's connected to the pipe, and then on the other side, it's a much wider lip. So we're going to connect the wide lip side to the lip of the piece that we've been working on. So there's a better shot of it. This is a bunch of canes that have been twisted. I pre-make a bunch of these on a different day, and then I get Luke to come in and help me actually throw them together. But we're going to start to heat up the lip on this piece and heat up the lip on the other one so that we can bring them together. That's called incalmo. Basically, it just means to bring two pieces together. So we're going to bring them together to make them one.
He's going to come over here. Yeah, in a moment.
So we did a little price check to make sure that it was just the right size. You know, you measure these things, but sometimes they're still a little off. And now we'll get our heats right, and we'll be able to actually throw them together.
About 10 seconds. Okay. All right. Yep. Up. Not less pressure, less pressure. Yeah.
All right, so our sizing went really well. The connection went really well. The heats were great. So that was an awesome transfer. That was an awesome add-on. So now all I have to do is work on opening this up and creating the final shape.
Yeah. And we will straight Sophie here. 1 second. Yep. Blow. Off. blah, blah, blah. Off.
Alright, so now at this point the piece is basically done, but we're not exactly out of the woods yet. The last thing we have to do is we need to disconnect it from the pipe and transport it into one of our annealers so it can cool down overnight. This can sometimes be kind of a risky move, you know. I'm going to add some water to the connection point right where we want it to break off, and then we're going to give the pipe a few little taps, and it should disconnect if everything's kind of proportioned right. But, you know, if my punty is too cold, I add too much water, if the bottom isn't as thick as you think it could be, there's a lot of ways this can go wrong. So let's see how this goes.
All right, ready? Got it, and we're gonna hit it with the torch.
Alright, so we're disconnected, no hole in the bottom or anything, but now I'm going to use my torch to get rid of all the sharp spots from that disconnection, and then Luke will move this over with his Kevlar gloves into the annealer, and we can let it cool down.
Woo! There we go. Woo!
And here's the final result. You know, I've fallen in love with making these pieces. It's always a great way to showcase color and pattern, and there's so many different ways to customize them. They're one of my favorite things to make. And this piece, along with all the other ones in the series, are for sale, and you can find a link in the description box down below. Guys, as usual, thanks for hanging out with me. Be safe out there. We'll catch you in the next video.